live. What's good, Josh? Your man, DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. How y'all doing out there, man? How you doing? If you are in Central Florida or Georgia, there's a storm coming, guys. There is a storm coming. We're tracking it down here, trying to figure out what we are going to do. Currently, the projections have this particular storm, which is scheduled to be a Category 3 hurricane by the time it gets close to Tampa. It's currently projected to just miss us just a little bit to the west. It's going to pass us, but it'll be close enough to where we'll get some nasty winds, some heavy rain, and some storm surge. So whenever these things happen, we get these storms, and it's like, oh, it's going to hit Tampa, and then all of a sudden, the last turn, it makes a hard right turn, and it hits Sarasota, Fort Myers, Fort Pierce. They're just getting over the last time this happened. So, if you're out here in Florida, especially even Central Florida, Northwestern Florida, or Northwestern Florida, pay attention to what's going on in the news, guys. Have your plan, get ready. Because it is coming, and it's going to continue to drive through Jacksonville, according to the latest projections, into Georgia, hit Atlanta, and then continue on to Louisville, Kentucky. So I just want to throw that out there. So today we're going to be talking about men are giving up on everything and why this is going on. Let's get into it. We are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed. So like I said yesterday, guys, we're going to be making a slight course correction, and we're going to just talk about just about everything, man. We're going to get back to the original premise of I Really Want to Know. So it's not just going to be talking about male improvement and what's going on with that, trying to help dudes out, but we're also going to be talking about political stuff. For instance, people keep saying, man, Kamala Harris, Kamala. The polls are still too close to call. There's some polls out there to show that Kamala Harris is doing really good. And there's some polls out there showing that Donald Trump is doing really good. And remember, the only states that matter, in my opinion, are the blue wall states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. If the Democrats hold those three states, I think they win. There was talk in Nebraska, the way that they split up their electoral college. They one separate point goes away. I mean, 1 point goes toward one district, and then the rest of the state, their points are together. And I think it's 4 points, but it's split 3 and 1. So the Democrats normally win this like little bitty section in Nebraska, so they get that one. And like all the talk is that they're trying to change it. They want the people in Nebraska, which is mostly, Republican, they want all of the votes to go to whoever wins the state. If that were to happen, it would change the electoral college and the projection for the Democrat win, because that one vote is the vote that will put the Democrats over the top, which is kind of crazy. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. I saw a little bit out on Breaking Points today, and I'm like, I might want to pull up some articles and read. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to make the change, not this election cycle, but maybe in the future. There's a couple states that do that. I think Maine does that as well. There's a couple states that split up their electoral college vote, the number. So it was just, very interesting to hear. That's how close this race is. So again, if they hold the blue wall, it is what it is. And if the Democrats don't hold the blue wall, it's going to be, it's going to be crazy for the Democrats to really get there. 7 swing states, in that people are looking at. 3 of those states, of course, is the blue wall, and then you have 4 other states: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Polling in Georgia has kind of been up and down for the Dems, and Republicans, same thing, neck and neck in North Carolina, although it looks like they're both of those states may be trending towards the Democrats. We'll see. Early voting has already begun in some states. So this is going to be a close one, guys. It's going to be a close race. So if you're team Democrat, team Kamala, or if you're team Republican, team Trump, this one's going down to the wire. Now, I don't, what is it, 40 or 50 days left until the election, something like that. So, hey, man, it is what it is. This is a very exciting race, very exciting times. Lady Navo's in the building. What's good, sis? Thank you so much for modding for me and being there and rocking out in the chat. I really appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you. She says I did good. I appreciate that. Let's just not speak of that again, please. People won't let nobody slander you. You're one of the best, man. I know. Thank you very much. Yeah, and we're done talking about that. We are done talking about that. It just, that was just, what we're gonna give folks an opportunity to hear this side of it, to hear whatever, and that's what we did. And thanks to you, sis. It went extremely well. Thank you so much, brother. Pablo on the building. You know what I mean? And so yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But we're going to be talking about all the other stuff as we move forward. Definitely going to be talking about the economy here in America. It's funny, Wall Street is doing really great, they say, but overall it's starting to trend down. But still people out there cleaning up, making some money. But the average American is just getting pummeled right now, man. It's so difficult right now with, they're trying to get inflation under control. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do. Lowering the interest rates it's going to be continued cuts to the Fed rate. We're going to be talking about that moving forward. All that good stuff. All that good stuff. Please, guys, hit that like button. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you to all those new subscribers we were able to pull in. I think we're up like 85 subscribers. I think that's what the analytics was telling me. So that's cool. Appreciate it. People are discovering the channel. They're probing around and seeing content that they like and they checking it out. So that's what's up. Appreciate it. Brother Pitney in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Day one, always there for a brother, man. Appreciate you. And yeah, we're just gonna get it in. Oh, brother Izzy, down here on my soil, one of my homeboys. Yo, this brother here in Tampa, if anyone needs any photography work done or some video work done or any kind of tech stuff, holla at Izzy. He's down here. He's on our soil, guys. If y'all need him here in Tampa, hit him up. You know what I'm saying? Hit him up right now. Let him know what it is. This is a solid brother. Solid brother. And he's so solid that we got to put a wrench behind his name so he can get out here and put in good work. So it is what it is, fam. Appreciate you. So yeah, man. So today we're going to talk about why is it that, guys seem to be just giving up. They just checking it in, man. They just giving up, bro. And why that is. And there's a bunch of reasons. There's a bunch of reasons for this. And I would say the biggest reason is, shit, man, it's just hard out here, bro. It's just hard out here. And no one's really listening to what's going on. No one's, really paying attention to male issues and just kind of letting them just float away. So we got a couple videos. We're going to start with a video. This is a CNBC video. The title of this is Why Men Are Leaving the Workforce. I thought we would start here, and then we have another video on standby that talks about the dating side of things. And I think both these videos are really, really good, and it just ask the right questions. And this is something that we all really should be thinking about. You know what I mean? Like we should be thinking about that. That's cool. I appreciate you, sis. Yeah, go ahead and charge it up. I appreciate you, sis. We'll be seeing you around. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Don DeMarco to you, sis, for always being consistently supporting what we're doing over here and making it happen. We lay in the voice. Shout out to you. So, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's get into this. Let's check out this video. And, so, let's And like I said, there's some good points here, and I definitely want you guys to see this and let me know what you guys are thinking. So here we go.
Dropping out of the workforce. Men have been steadily dropping out of the workforce, especially men aged 25 to 54, who are often considered to be in their prime working years. As of August 2024, 13.7% of prime age men were not working, compared to just 7.2% in 1954.
The long-term decline in labor force participation by so-called prime age men is a tremendous worry for our society, for our economy, and probably also for our political system.
There's a surplus of prime age workers who could be working and aren't, and that's this puzzling problem.
The unemployment rate for prime age working men sat at 3.4% in August 2024. This number primarily includes those who are unemployed and looking for a job. But about 10.5% of men in their prime working years, or roughly 6.8 million men nationwide, are neither working nor looking for employment.
That right there should be a troubling number, and everyone should be concerned about that, right? Everyone should be concerned about that. We're talking about men between the ages of 25 and 54. Right. And like I say, man, men in America are the foundation or the batteries to drive our society. If they're not working, we're not growing. Period. And it's just how that's how it is. Right. These guys are just like, you know what? Forget it. And they're gonna talk about some reasons why. And this is crazy. This is going on right now, and no one is talking about it. CNBC is talking about it. It's just a blurb out there. Meanwhile, everyone's talking about everything else under the sun.
Compared to just 2.5% in 1954.
What's surprising is it's not a COVID phenomenon. It's not a recession phenomenon.
And for every prime age man who is unemployed and looking for a job, there are more than 3, and some years 4, who are neither working nor looking for work.
So what's driving men out of the workforce? And if left unchecked, what impact will it have on the U.S. economy?
I think there are a lot of things that are driving men out of the workforce. I think the biggest thing is they're invisible. Right? They're invisible. No one sees them. No one cares about them. They can't seem to get ahead at all. Right? They're looking at social media. They're looking at everyone's, made up highlight reel, and they're like, man, I can't compete to that. I don't have any friends, male or female. I don't have any prospects. I don't have any education. I don't have any confidence. I think a lot of that is like, well, I'm just going to stay home. Add to that everyone, mommy, daddy, grandma, everybody else is saying you're perfect the way you are. Everyone's a winner, right? A lot of these dudes, especially the younger guys, they haven't been prepared to fight and deal with adversity, deal with disappointment. They don't know how to deal with that. So they just give up. I think, that's my take on it. I think most of these dudes are like, well, I'm never going to be anything anyway. I'm never going to be able to get that girl. I'm never going to be able to have that car. I'm never going to be able to have those friends. So I might as well just eat Cheetos, play video games, and have, borrow some of P. Diddy's lube. That's what they're looking at. Let's continue.
Nearly half of prime age men out of the workforce cited obsolete skills, lack of education and training, poor work record, or security issues as a reason preventing them from work.
Education is a very important predictor of a prime age man's odds of being out of the labor force.
The big impacts are on the non-college educated groups on their ability to enter and stay in the labor market.
Men who are not college educated leave the workforce at higher rates than men who are. At the same time, fewer younger men have been enrolling in college over the past decade.
If you look at the geography of where the most prime age men out of the labor force are in particular, they tend to be in places that have experienced manufacturing declines. They used to graduate with a high school education and have good, stable jobs. jobs. They weren't glamorous jobs. They were, automobile factories, sometimes mines, other manufacturing jobs, but they were respected, they were stable, and they could support a family.
Right? She ain't lying. Look at Jay Swans. Man, look, stop eating them Cheetos, bro. Stop eating them Cheetos. Go ahead and make you some homemade nachos, bro. Not too much salt and some homemade sauce. You know how that homemade sauce, but eat healthy even when you're doing your even when you're doing your snacks. Even when you're doing your snacks. But here's the thing. What she said is true, man. You could come out of school and back in school you could take like wood shop and you can take those those shop classes where they teach you how to weld and all that kind of stuff. That used to be high school. Right? They were getting you ready for the trades in high school. They don't do that anymore. So you come out of high school now with zero experience. You can't go down to the GM plant and get a job. You can't go to the Chrysler plant. You can't go to the playing cards plant, right? You can't go to the steel mill. All that's gone. And those jobs, not only were they stable, but you had, they were union jobs. You were making really good money. You can afford to raise your children. Your wife could stay home, just like in the picture we're looking right here. Like she made more than a sandwich. She's making breakfast. She's at home. If she wants to, she can go to work too. Like you and your wife could work that out. You can afford to have kids, right? You had vacation time, right? You had your 2 cars, 2.5 kids in the picket fence, had a cat and a dog, and everyone in the neighborhood had that. Right? What was the average house? Probably back then, you're probably spending $50,000 on your home. Now the average house, in America, like a starter home in America, is like $420,000. And the average household salary is it's like $85,000, and that's with 2 people working. Right? Remember, these guys haven't solved for the problem of how they're going to meet somebody. So they don't have a woman, they don't have a girl, they don't have kids. We're talking about the invisible men. They're like, why should I even try?
Since then, due to technology-driven growth, a little bit due to Chinese competition, you've had a lot of manufacturing firms and the places where they were located that were one-horse towns become ghost lands, right?
Wages could also be a contributing factor. Median annual wages for men with a high school diploma have fallen from just over $57,600 in 1973 to $45,000 in 2023, adjusted for inflation. At the same time, wages for those with a bachelor's degree or more have increased by about $6,300 during the same period. This decline in earnings led to a 44% growth in the exit rate of men without a college degree from the workforce between 1980 and 2019.
I think, honestly,
those numbers are insane, guys. Like that. Look at this. So from 1970 to 2024? Is that what they said? Or is it 2020? It looks like it's 2024. The median annual income based on education for men between the ages of 25 and 34 working full time in 2022 dollars. But a high school diploma, bro, it went from 57,600 a year down 45. It went down. With some college, it went from 60,000 or so to maybe 50 grand. And then with the college degree, like you're looking at that with the college degree was like, what's that? Maybe 60, maybe 70,000, maybe 70K. And then it's let's listen to this one more time. So I'm like, I want to hear these numbers again. But the thing is, something else here is you see how wages haven't really gone up that much from 1970 until 2022. You see how the wages have not really done much. I mean, it's gone down for just about everybody except for college educated folks. And even then, it's not gone up really. Man, let's watch this one more time.
Adjusted for inflation. At the same time, wages for those with a bachelor's degree or more have increased by about $6,300 during the same period. This decline in earnings led to a 44% growth in the exit rate of men without a college degree.
I'm trying to find. So look at this. So in 1970, you had a college degree. You were going to be making around $70,700 a year. And then when you look at what it would cost to buy stuff, you know that you can buy your house, a really good house was $100,000 back then. So you're looking at spending maybe $35,000 to $65,000 on a decent house. You're making $70,000, $70,700 a year with college educated. And now here it is, 2022, and you're only making $77,000. What? Like, what are we doing here? That's with a college degree. Look at the high school diploma guy from $57,600 down to $45,000 a year. This is why guys are giving up. They're looking at this like, bro, I can never compete. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Men not working in Social Security. I think Social Security is done no matter what. I don't think anybody's relying on Social Security. I think everyone understands that Ponzi scheme is about over, and the younger generations aren't going to get anything. I don't think they're banking on it at all. I think my generation is going to see, I think the end of the Gen Xers are going to see the death of Social Security. Congress, the elected officials, they say they want to fix that problem, but I don't think they're going to fix it. They're going to come out with something market related and it's going to ruin everything. And Brother Izzy, yeah, he's like, as a younger guys, what I see from my friend, they compare themselves to social media, not knowing that it's usually a front. Everyone wants to be famous and not have to earn anything, right? They don't want to have to earn that position, earn that. Jay Swan's just talking about Gen X retired at 47. If you manage your money right, surround yourself with the right folks, and listen. I pulled the plug at 50. If you do it right, you can retire. Gen Xers are doing it, but the vast majority of people aren't doing it. The vast majority of people didn't have that opportunity. But if you're one of those people who could figure it out and you got in there right and you came out of the right situation, it could be done. I know some people some people who were ready to pull the plug and retire if they wanted to as young as 35, but they, these are entrepreneurs or people who inherited their money and they grew it like crazy. Then they still work because they love to work. But Jesus Christ, when you look at this is what everyone should be looking at. Why is it that high school educated people are making way less than they did back in 1970? Today, you come out of high school, you're making nothing. You look at people with some college, they're making less than people were making in 1970. And then you look at college educated people, it's only like a $6,300 difference in income going back to 1970. And then you look at inflation and all that, like this stuff. I wonder if this stuff is adjusted for inflation. So what is the true purchasing power of the dollar back in 1970 versus today? It's just crazy. Jay Swan's just like, I wonder if it's because you could graduate high school and go build cars for Ford or GM, but now most of that type of work is being done by robots or is being done by people in foreign countries. We're talking about China, Mexico, some other third world nations. I think it's a combination of both. If you can do away with your labor costs, that's just going to add so much to your bottom line. It's going to add so much to your profit margin. It's crazy. Brother Ninja's in the building. What's good, fam? Appreciate you, man. Good seeing you, man. Good seeing you, bro. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Brother Powell said, yeah, it was adjusted for inflation. I think they said that. Okay, cool. So it's adjusted for inflation, but still, look at that. That's a real decline. Man, that's crazy. You want to Don DeMarco, Jay Swan? See, this is why you can't have your friend, man. You can't have your brother on here, bro, because they're gonna just want to disrupt shit. They want Don DeMarco. Here you go. Don DeMarco. You happy with your Don DeMarco?
You big dummy.
I'm just saying, oops, maybe I hit the wrong button. Maybe I didn't. Got you, Don DeMarco, man. You happy now? You happy? You know what I mean? Trying to do something here, bro. I got stuff to do. I'm working on events. I got stuff to do. I got somewhere else to be, trying to do something here. Can't take your friends nowhere. He's like, yo, that pleases me. Man, look here, bro. Man, you better be glad I ain't got my updated buttons yet. I'm gonna have to update my buttons just for you, bro. Yeah, all right. See how family do you? See how family do you, fellas? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all see how family do you. That's my man, though. That is my man. 100 grand. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we've been in the trenches for a long time. People like, man, do you know where the bodies are buried? Not only do I know where the bodies are buried, I still got the shovel. Brother Pitney, George Gammon just made a great video about the future of our economy. You should check it out when you get a chance. Hell yeah, I'm checking that out. You know, I stay focused on George Gammon, the Danielle DiMartino booth. So yeah, I'm definitely we're gonna see us go back to highlighting what George Gammon has to say as well. Peter Schiff as well. So yeah, man, appreciate that, bro. And I stay watching Gammon. That's my guy. I look forward to bumping into him one of these days. Let's get back to the video.
This decline in earnings led to a 44% growth in the exit rate of men without a college degree from the workforce between 1980 and 2019.
I think, honestly, status plays more of a role than wages. As I said before, you had a manufacturing job. It was respected. You were part of a community, breadwinner for your family. You had organizations like unions or Rotary clubs that surrounded your job.
Yep.
And that's gone.
In general, men without children are also less likely to participate in the workforce compared to men with children, especially men without education or training after high school.
What we have seen is a huge rise in the proportion of prime-age men who've never been married, and a very, very significant decline in the proportion who are currently married and have kids at home. And those two trends track closely with the big changes that we've seen about male attachment in the labor force. Correlation isn't always causation, but looking at that correspondence is real important, I think.
Meanwhile,
that is a good point. I mean, it's one of the things that I don't think they're going to touch on this video, but it just needs to be said. When you look at female dating preferences and their standards, a lot of dudes aren't meeting these standards. So what drives a lot of men to do things, right? It's trying to please their woman, trying to get that woman. So we talk about this all the time. And when you look at the global marketplace and how it has changed, now the dating market is no longer regional, it's global with technology. So women's standards are just way up there. I went through a drive-through restaurant the other night to get a soda. I got a large soda. Yo, first of all, that thing costs like $3 and some change, first of all. But I went to the drive-through, and then the drive-through attendant was just female. And you guys know me. I'm always talking crazy. You know me, always be talking shit. Y'all know what it is. So she gives me the drink, and I was like, wow, like, $3 and like it was almost $4. Like, man, almost $4 for a soda. Man, I feel like a baller. Maybe I should, maybe this should come with sparkles, like a bottle service, right? And this is like some younger girl, tattoos on her hands. You can see tattoos coming out from under her shirt, on her fingers and stuff like that. And she gave me a look like, how dare you talk to me? And, I just kind of sat there and, finished out the transaction. And this happens when you go out there, guys. This is why you always want to be talking crazy. So you get used to this as well. You get numb to it. But I was paying attention to it. And it just kind of made me laugh. I'm like, this woman, right? This woman who is appearance-wise, I would say she's like one step below average. But her confidence and her self-worth is so high, is so skewed. And it's because so many dudes are pursuing her, because these guys want a woman, and she's knocking them down because she has, so many choices. And these guys, think about it. So if she's a 4 and she won't even talk to dudes on her level, she's only talking to like 7, 8s, and 9s, whatever. She's shooting as high as she can. The guys on her level and below, they're just going to give up. There's no reason for them to go out there and get that job. There's no reason for them to work out and look good. Although for her, I mean, she was overweight, she was out of shape. But there's no reason for these guys to do it. There's no push to do it, because they've already given up. They can't get the girl. So why do I even need the job? I might as well just stay at mom's house, and that is like that negative spiral. So I thought it was funny. First of all, I was like, wow, this is a lot to pay for a little bit of soda. And 2, I'm like, this woman right here, like this little girl tripping. You know what I mean? You like talk to text. Oh, you got to talk to text. That's a good point. Beta construction worker or the bus driver. There was no shame in that. But now, because everyone wants to be famous, they look down on these people. Facts. And the women who are looking down on the people are the women like I just described here. You have a woman who's one step below average, like a 4, overweight, like 75% of America is either overweight or obese. She fits in that category. Not that pretty, but she's looking for the guy with the clout, the nice vehicle, and all that. It's crazy. So these dudes are giving up, right? And this stat right here, 57% of men not looking for work said their physical or mental health was the main reason for not being employed. I think that these type of stats are skewed because you're basically giving a guy choices, and he's looking for a way to become a victim so he doesn't have to come to grips with the fact that he's just a loser, right? If they say, well, why aren't you working, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's because I have a problem. Well, you seem to be physically fit and healthy. Well, it's not. I got a mental problem. No one wants to admit that, like, I'm a loser, right? And again, mommy and daddy said that I'm special the way I am. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. So it can't be me. It must be something wrong with me. That's why I can't win. That's why I can't get this job. This is why I don't have a girlfriend. This is why I don't have any friends. It's not my fault. It's because I got some sort of mental defect or whatever, and I need meds.
Meanwhile, 57% of the roughly 10% of men not looking for work said their physical or mental health was the main reason for not being employed, with 55% citing a disability, serious illness, and or receiving disability benefits.
The whole question about the health and the mental health of male workforce dropouts is an extremely important and I think concerning one. Distressing proportion of the men who are out of the workforce say they're using pain medications every day.
A 2017 research paper estimates that an increase in opioid prescription between 1999 to 2015 led to about 43% of the decline in men's labor force participation rate.
So even this part right here, the government has a hand in this. Big Pharma has a hand in this. The increase in opiate prescription between 1999 and 2015 led to about 43% of the decline in men's labor force participation. Why? Because they were strung out. People should be locked up behind this. When you got, the Pfizer's out there and whatever the name of that family was, the name of that family that came up with codeine and all, not codeine, but Oxy. The family came up with Oxy and all that kind of stuff, and then making money off of it, legal drug dealing, getting the pharmacists to prescribe it, and getting the doctors on board with prescribing it. And look what it did to our society. We have people like Brother Pablo who has physical challenges. He's had them his whole life. Those brothers, we're not talking about them. And even him, he's out there working and doing what he can to the best of his ability. I've had family members that were born with physical defects and they had to deal with that sort of thing, but still got out there and worked. And because the family was behind them, it's like, hey, we all go to work. You're gonna go to work too, regardless of if you have a chair, you're in a wheelchair, or you have crutches or whatever. It doesn't matter. We're gonna get you out here and get you something to do. If you can read, write, and understand, then you can work. And but that had to be taught. Now, perfectly healthy humans, perfectly healthy men are being told they have problems. They're being prescribed drugs that they don't need, or they're being overprescribed drugs. And you're talking about opiates, man. Now you want to talk about something you one time and you hooked. I remember once, man, I was prescribed Vicodin I had some serious pain. I had something was wrong with my neck. Like it was my muscles that seized up or something. It was crazy. And I don't like taking pills. Ask anyone who knows me, I'll tell you, I don't like taking pills. I mean, to get me to take a Tylenol or Tylenol 3 or something like that is like, if you see me popping a Tylenol 3, it's probably a bone sticking out somewhere, right? Like I really don't like taking meds. Man, I was in so much pain. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't lay down. They gave me muscle relaxers and they gave me Vicodin. This was back in 1999, maybe 2000. So, man, I popped that Vicodin, bro. When I tell you I didn't feel nothing, I didn't feel nothing. It was like, what did Jimi Hendrix say, bro? Purple haze. It was a purple haze, bro. Excuse me while I kissed the sky. I was like, whoa. And I was like, I never took another one. I dumped them pills down the toilet, flushed them. I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with this. I felt nothing. I could see why people get hooked on it. I don't want this. I just took the Tylenol 3s and I dealt with the pain until my body got better. But I tell you what, I see why people get hooked on them things, especially if you're prescribing it and they really don't need it. I see why they get hooked on that, bro. And I told my cousin that story. He was like, "You got what? You got Vikes?" I'm like, "Yeah, blah blah blah. I got them. I ain't taking these, man. These things make you." He's like, "Where they at? I'm finna come over." I flushed them down the toilet. Man, he came over to the house and smacked me in the head. Like, bro, you know how much I could have got per pill? Like I said, I was like, "Nah, man, I wasn't even thinking about that." He's like, "Can you get some more?" I'm like, "I am not doing that, bro. I am in the FAA now. I'm not doing that at all." And like, has lazy been defined as a disability yet? Shit, not yet, but probably close to it. And this part right here, you see me and Jay Swans, we pretty much thinking the same way. Physical or mental health sounds like a bunch of loser to me. Like, it's just people looking for excuses, right? They are looking for excuses, man. And yeah, bro, like I said, brother, like I know I've grown up with family members and I have close friends who've had disabilities. We didn't even know it, man. There was one kid who was born with a defect where his hands were permanently like this. Like, you know how you're use this hand. Like, we have our hand right here, and this is how it is, where his hand was connected here. So it was permanently out that way. It was connected like that. He couldn't move it any further than this. So both of his hands were kind of in that position, right? But he played baseball. I mean, he was holding the bat a different way. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he had a pretty good batting average. He was out there in the field. He was, fielding balls. He played football. Like he ran track. And then later in life, they had a procedure. They did some sort of surgery where they was able, I think, to correct it a little bit, but he was always gonna struggle with it. Man, we didn't make fun of him or nothing. He was like, he rode bikes with us, jumping off of stuff with us. He did everything we did. But that kid, right, he was technically handicapped. We didn't know. He didn't seem to care. I don't know what his parents told him, but he was out there getting it like the rest of us were getting it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, having that accident. Yeah, people have these horrible accidents when they're really young and they got to deal with that. Bro, I'm sure they hit you with all the painkillers. Like this shift to opiates, right? That the elected officials were on board with. They were, in bed with Big Pharma, getting the doctors and pharmacists on board with it. I mean, those people should really have been locked up, man. Like, you gonna lock up dudes on the street for selling what they selling, but y'all pushing this. Florida was bad for that, man. Back in the 2000s, people were coming from all over, coming down to Florida, get to hit these pill mills up. And now it's that fent out there, man. Just all the drugs before fentanyl, nothing compared to what fentanyl is doing to our society. And you got people who are just looking for ways to stay in that purple haze. You just looking for ways to stay in that purple haze
during that period.
So then you have to ask, what sort of pain are we talking about? Are we talking about physical pain? Are we talking about metaphysical pain? There's an enormous amount of depression, mental health challenges that men in this grouping face. Some of this is a chicken and egg question. Did you drop out because you were feeling sad, or are you sad because you dropped out and you're living on the couch?
Unemployment is really terrible for people's well-being. Often people adapt to all kinds of negative shocks, losing a kid, being widowed, whatever, and eventually kind of come back. But long-term unemployment is one of the worst things in terms of that. So what you have is a kind of scarring effect, and it's worse for men because their identity is much more wrapped up in their role as a worker.
Men's decline.
And that's a fact. This is why when you look at the internet and you look at the Mano Swamp and you look at what's going on with the red pill world, they understand that. And, it's like they tell these guys, man, you got to get out here and do something. And it becomes like, well, don't worry about having a title. Don't worry about becoming a lawyer or an engineer or a doctor. You know, get out there and just hustle. Become an engineer as well. Get your side hustles. And these guys are drawn to that because, you know, and you hear that in the streets. No one's a garbage man anymore, like working for the city. You know, no one's, you know, driving a bus. No one's doing these things anymore, like, you know, a taxi cab driver. Everyone is an entrepreneur now. The women are saying it. Like, yeah, everybody's an entrepreneur. It's like, yeah, it is what it is because they're coming home to this message to become better. And this is their way of dealing with the disappointment of not having the title. Like you didn't go to college and all this kind of stuff. So I understand why they're doing that. We got old Joe in the building. What's good, fam? Yeah, Jay Swan's like, yo, do you know the oxygen thing I'm always talking about? I'm feeling it right now. I'm about to bounce. I'll let you, bro. Peace. Yeah, peace. And Jay Swans has left the building. Old Joe has entered the building. Appreciate you, bro. So let's continue.
Declining workforce participation can potentially leave a lasting impact on the American economy.
It means slower growth of the economy, obviously. It means bigger wealth gaps within our society.
It certainly will have an impact on our productivity and probably already is.
The U.S. has been experiencing a severe shortage in labor, still missing 1.7 million Americans from the workforce compared to February 2020. The McKinsey Global Institute estimates that U.S. GDP could have been $296 to $442 billion higher in 2023 if the country had been able to fill its job vacancies. However,
I want, you know, most of those jobs are probably part-time. Most of those jobs are menial, right? They don't have that clout associated with it and they can't fill it. And people are just staying home. And then you couple that with folks who are coming to this country and folks who are coming to this country undocumented, they're going to slide into those positions and you know, pay them less. So again, it's a win for the 1%, but it's a terrible loss for our society as a whole because we need men to get out here and start working. We need men to uphold our society and be the foundation. But they're not going to do it if no one sees them. They're not going to do it if they can't get that girl. Let's just keep it 100.
However, some experts suggest the impacts of men leaving or never entering the workforce could be more sector specific.
You need young men coming in wanting to replace those people going out. And so if men have primarily been in more manual labor, more blue skilled and skilled trades, if they're older and they're leaving into retirement and there's not as many young men coming in, both because of declining cohort sizes, but moving in a different direction type of careers, we're going to be losing that sector of productivity.
Despite a steep rise in federal funding, the infrastructure sector hasn't been able to find enough workers, with the construction workforce shortage surpassing 500,000 in 2024.
We are a little concerned about the impact that inflation is going to have and has had on the movement of infrastructure dollars into the actual productive activity. Having a shortage of men in construction is going to raise a problem.
The trend could have a dire socio-political impact as well.
It'll get worse in ways that we would not like. I mean, I think it would lead to more premature deaths, but it will also likely lead to radicalization and polarization because this is a frustrated, left behind group with no options.
And that's the facts. She ain't lying about that. Frustrated, left behind group, no options, no one sees them. And what happens? They start doing some extreme weirdo stuff like crawling on top of a building and trying to shoot a former president of the United States of America. Dumb move there. You know, they're going out here, you know, grabbing weapons and going into schools and going in here trying to hurt and delete babies, right? This is what happens. This is what happens. So they were talking about the government trying to put money into infrastructure and create all these jobs. Okay, cool. But now they can't figure out how to get these dudes to jump up and take advantage of these jobs. Brother Michael's in the building. You know, there are shortages in critical blue collar jobs, some healthcare and accounting, but those jobs aren't glamorous and underpaid. So they will remain in short supply of workers. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, we looked at how the wages have been pretty much stagnant for the college educated folks going back to the 1970s, and they have gone down. Wages have gone down for those people with some college and only high school diplomas. So the money is there. It's just greed, I believe, is behind all this. It is the greed of the one percenters and the business class, because all you got to do is offer more money. Really, you can pay less, but if you have benefits, you're gonna have so many people trying to get on with your company. If you have benefits, you have medical, you have dental, you have vacation time, bro, they're gonna rush to you. You're gonna have to beat them off with a stick, but no one's going to do that. So greed has a role in this as well. But I think the reason these guys aren't working, they do feel disenfranchised. They don't understand why they should even try.
There are problems that government can address and problems that government can't address.
So one of the first functions that beats out policy is, economic growth. You have a strong economy, you're going to have increased wage structure, and it's going to bring people back into the market.
More than a quarter of prime-age men not looking for work cited insufficient pay as a reason preventing them from work.
There it is.
And nearly half said competitive pay, salary, compensation, and/or bonuses was a very important factor when considering whether to enter or return to the workforce.
I just said that right there. If corporations and businesses offered these things, people would show up. People are more concerned with their, I don't think they're so concerned with wages as they are with benefits. If they can get the benefits, they'll come and work. You can pay them less but have full benefits. They're coming in there. Or even structured bonus programs and stuff like that, so they can go in here and they can work harder and get paid for it. So yeah, man, I knew it. I knew something like that was going to be said, because it is definitely crazy out here. And Brother Pablo was talking about AI is going to hit the white collar and not necessarily the blue collar. I think the AI hits the white collar industry first, but it's going to come for blue collar as well. I mean, look, they already have bots that can, clean your floors, keep the house clean, dust, mow the lawn, wash the dishes, put the dishes away. Right now, it costs too much to get, but the tech exists. So, you look at what happens on the factory floor. A lot of people got automated out of their jobs a long time ago, but now HR is going to get hit. Lawyers are going to get hit. You don't need a floor full of lawyers when you have Chat GPT. You have an AI that can go through there and handle their work in a fraction of the time and is more accurate. So I think the white collar sector is going to get hit hardest, soonest, but I think eventually everyone's going to get a taste of this. When the trucks hit the freeway, it's just a matter of time before you get the semis that are driving themselves. Once the trucks hit the freeway, right, that's going to affect the drivers. That's going to affect mechanics. That's going to affect the hotel industry, big and small, from corporate all the way down to mom and pops. That's going to affect waitresses. That's going to affect like gas station attendants and gas stations. Think about that. There's a whole infrastructure built around men and women, but mostly men, driving trucks across the country. Andrew Yang was talking about that 2 or 3 political cycles ago, and no one's doing anything about it.
For the young, better training, skills training, better some form of post-high school education, encouraging that, maybe even subsidizing that. I think part of the youth mental health crisis has to do with what's next. What's AI going to do? What am I going to do? Are there any stable jobs? I can't afford college. All those questions all come together. And so models that help them kind of give them a jump start can be really effective ways of intervening. And there are actually now really promising programs in high schools which teach kids financial literacy. They teach them about equitable entrepreneurship. They teach them about how do you foster better mental health as part of the workplace. And it seems to inspire kids to go on to college, right? Because they sort of see a pathway where they didn't see it before.
29%.
That's another thing too. Men have figured out, and they did figure out a long time ago, it doesn't pay to go to college if you can't afford to go. Like if you're going to college and you're getting all these government loans and everything else, once you're done with college, it'll take you a lifetime to pay those loans back, and dudes have figured it out. So they don't want to do it. Like even with my daughter, it's like, hey, if you want to go to college, even though I got that worked out, but don't tell her. But I'm like, if you want to go to college, you're gonna need to win a scholarship. You're gonna have to do something to show me you really want to be there. Other than just I'm just gonna go to school and daddy's gonna pay for it. Nah, Papa ain't trying to do all that because we ain't gonna waste that money. So, and then kids are encouraged to go to these big schools and spend these big ticket, take these big ticket loans out so they can go to college and do what? I have an advanced degree in underwater basket weaving. You kidding me? You owe $70,000, $80,000 for that. What are you gonna do with it? Um, and Brother Michael's, as an accountant, he's like, I'm looking to double my fees over the next few years as my phone blows up like a chick's DM looking for work, and I'm already overbooked. Brother Michael, how is AI going to affect your industry? I know that it's just a matter of time before accounting AI software could replace humans. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think there's been a focus on it. But what's your take on that? How long before you think automation and AI takes over your industry? I'm just curious to hear about that. Um, because I know it's coming. I could be wrong. Correct me if I am wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's coming. And I'm pretty sure within your office, AI is going to replace, people who are just helping to check your work, or just you got office assistants and stuff like that, just kind of, making appointments or whatever. I'm pretty sure AI is going to take over that. I can talk to my phone right now and it updates my calendar instantly. It sends me text to remind me I got this and that going on. We used to have humans for that. Now we got a phone.
Of men out of the labor force said that training and educational programs was another important factor in considering a return to the workforce.
Having the type of commitment from the employer to train and retain and offer upward mobility for workers, I think will be very important. Trying to figure out more about career pathways in the labor market and not just the education side. So how is it that someone moves from first job, next job to best job? How do we help people understand and navigate?
Nearly a quarter of working Americans said they weren't satisfied with their growth opportunities in the workplace, compared to other OECD countries that on average spend 0.1% of their GDP on training their workers. The US spent only 0.03% of their GDP on job training in 2022.
Older age groups, it's tougher. You're probably not going to get these guys to retrain, but there are a lot of programs that have largely been pioneered in the UK, much more than here, but we're starting to pick up on them, that literally just try and reboot community activities. They get these isolated people in despair out of their houses. It can make a difference.
Social programs like disability benefits spark contentious debate.
It's very controversial. People have very strong opinions about this. While we don't know why it is happening, we can be pretty clear that the social welfare programs are helping, and the disability programs are helping to finance this situation in a way that was never originally intended.
A 2018 analysis by the Joint Economic Committee found that 64% of prime age men who aren't working were receiving some sort of government assistance.
So the one benefit that they rely heavily on is disability insurance. One, because they often are unable to work if they have a physical injury or high levels of addiction or whatever. But it also provides health insurance, which is huge.
Very much against the initial intentions of the founders of the program. They've ended up with a perverse situation that too often subsidizes or even incentivizes helplessness and long-term dependence. If we thought about a system in which we had a work-first principle where the incentives were for getting the training and then showing up at the job and then staying at the job, I think we'd be in a lot better place than we are today.
However, some experts remain doubtful about whether altering the benefits program will lead to meaningful results.
I think until we deal with the deeper problem of ill health, ill mental health, these guys aren't going to respond to incentives.
Everybody is responsible for their brothers. Everybody's responsible for their neighbors and their friends. And we ourselves as citizens can help to shine a spotlight on this. It shouldn't be America's invisible problem. And the more that we talk about it, the more that we pay attention to it, the closer we get to turning this around.
See, the thing with what they were saying, I think there's some truth in the physical part. You know, they're like, oh, you got the physical problems and then you have the mental problems or whatever. But I think what's really going on is if you want men to have that buy-in, you got to help them solve for their problem. That problem is getting sexual access from women. You have to help them solve for the problem of being socially weird and not being able to fit in. And once you do that, these men will begin to build their confidence and these men will want to do better. Until you do that, they're going to just sit at home and phone it in. That's what I think overall, that's what I think is going on. Brother Blazing, I see you made it out of basic, man. What branch? You just said you made it back from basic. What branch? I'm thinking Army. And if that's the case, you should be on your way to airborne school. If you ain't going to airborne school, you're wrong. But hit me up on Telegram, bro. I'll send you the link to join Castle Club. They are on Discord now. So I'll send you a link. It gives you the instructions on how to get in there. But hit me up on Telegram, DL_Saint on Telegram, so I can get that to you. But yeah, bro, yeah, you should be going to airborne school, man. If you ain't going to airborne school, I don't want to talk to you. Brother Mike was like, the biggest issue will be how the system gets bridged once CBDCs come in full force and legislation forces more systemic integration than general AI adoption trends. Okay, man, you smart. Man, you smart. Because when I look at AI, I mean, it's just a matter of time before AI gets into every facet, every asset of what we have out here now. You know, the way we do business now. In fact, we have a gentleman who is all in on AI. He's taking a bunch of courses, and we're doing a networking event here in Tampa. In Ybor City. Once the flyer is done, I'll post it for you guys. But he's just talking about incorporating AI into your business, and you know how to do it, why it's important, keeping up with the changes to AI and all that kind of stuff. How AI can help you grow your business and all that kind of stuff. So I know that this is what people are talking about. Most people are afraid of it. You know, most folks fear what they don't understand, and they don't understand how it can help them grow their business. So it's coming. It's absolutely coming. So this next bit, want to get you guys into this bit. So we talked about the job part, right? Why is it that men aren't working? We talked about the job part. This is a brother, Men Need to Be Heard. That's the name of his podcast. He has around 24,000 subscribers. This is like an older gentleman like myself who's out here trying to make a difference. And we came across this video, the shocking result after surveying men about dating in 2024. I haven't watched this video, only watched just a little bit of it. I'm curious to see if this was just something he did, like a little small survey he did, or did he get this information from a proper survey? But it is it's something I'm looking forward to hearing, because he's talking about the dating aspect. I think the majority of men who aren't working, the guys who have given up, I believe they've given up because they can't get a woman, and or they're weird and they have problems adjusting to society, and they don't know how to maneuver in social circles. I think it's more of that than anything else. AI paratroopers, it never work. Like AI paratroopers, you can't until you have well, you know what? I guess in the future, if you had some sort of a combat drone or combat humanoid, you can drop them from the sky. You know, like I said, just being airborne is just being dropped from above. So yeah, that would be, you know, robots coming out the sky to get you. Might be scary to some people, but I wouldn't worry about it, especially if I got that M250 cal. I'll leave that robot in pieces. So I think AI paratroopers will have their hands full dealing with organic paratroopers. But that's just my take on it. I am definitely biased. So let's check out this brother's take. It's about 4 minutes. Let's check out his take on men who are checking out of the dating world. Like we just talked about the workforce, but let's talk about what's going on in the dating world.
This video is going to be completely different than the one I had originally planned on doing about the topic I'm about to discuss. The truth of the matter is, I'm completely blown away by the responses I got from single men who I queried, asking them to share their experiences with regard to the cost of dating. Originally, I was going to do a talk about how expensive it has become for men in the dating, like the dating apps, not to mention going out to dinner or the cost of the dates themselves, especially with regard to the increased expectations today's women have on just how much money men should be spending on them when they go on dates, which is why I posted on my various social medias asking single men to tell me how much they spent on average on a typical date and how many dates per month they were going on. I also asked how much they were spending on things like the dating sites and whatever other means they were using to find dates. My goal ultimately was to get a rough number of just how expensive dating has become for the average man in 2024. And to be fair, I had a few that responded with their actual numbers, which ran the gamut from $150 a month all the way up to a couple thousand. But that doesn't even come close to telling the tale. Because the number one answer by a country mile that men gave me was zero. That's right, the overwhelming majority, and I'm talking 90% plus of those who responded to my query said they don't spend a single cent dating anymore.
So he just talked to people. This is more anecdotal, not a scientific survey. So what he's doing is a very, very, very small sample size. If you really want to see some big numbers on dating and stuff like that, Aaron Clary has a book that is called Bachelor Pad Economics. Check out that book. And he's got another one too. I'm looking behind me because it used to be the numbers of dating. I forget. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's up here. Here it is. The Book of Numbers. You guys have seen me pull this up before. This is Aaron Clary's book, The Book of Numbers, and he runs down what the average dude spends pursuing women or trying to, get a woman, getting married, all those costs. He broke it all the way down. And this book is, when did he do this? I can't remember when this was published, but this isn't that old, if I'm not mistaken. It isn't that old. But anyway, this is a really good read. If you guys want to kind of get into it and see his numbers, and Aaron Clary is clearly a numbers guy. I definitely recommend The Book of Numbers. Appreciate you, brother Michael. Yeah, I got it right here. I go through this a lot. Sometimes I just go read a couple chapters, just blow my mind, because when you read it and really take it in and think about it, it's like, damn, dudes spend a lot of money. So I'm not surprised that anecdotally, this guy's out here talking to dudes, trying to get a little sample of what's going on out there. And these guys, like 90% of the dudes are like, nah, I'm not spending nothing on dating. I totally get it. Because these, again, like I said, the guys who know what they're doing, they're not going to invest in something like that. They're going to run a different style of game. Like, you're going to go out, whatever. They're going to keep that expense low. And then some dudes have just checked out altogether. It's like, man, that's just not worth it. I don't want to spend no money on this. So I'm really curious to hear, just to see what's going on. Appreciate you, sir. She's like, I'm gonna hang in just a little bit longer. Appreciate you, sir. Hanging in here with us. But yeah, The Book of Numbers, like 4 years. Yeah, but I thought it was like 4 years ago. Yep, it might be 4 years old. I don't have my glasses on, so that I was trying to go through and see when this book was published. But I believe you're right, brother Michael. I think it was about 4 years ago. But it's a good read and the numbers hold up. And when you get to the part when he tells you how much money the average guy spends in a lifetime in the pursuit of women and on relationships, it shocks you. Like, what? Spent that much money? You know what you could have bought and probably been way happier? And that's the point of the book. But let's continue.
Walked away and aren't coming back anytime soon. Now, I knew I would get some zero answers because I see those things all the time in the comments on my videos where guys say they're done and walking away from dating. But 90%, wow. Now, look, I'm not trying to claim this is a scientific survey by any means. Some will argue that I'm relying on the self-reporting of these men and what they're telling me, which is a fair point. But the reality is, that's not all that much different from what those so-called scientific studies do. Add to it, when you combine the results of my unofficial study with the literally hundreds of thousands of comments that I've gotten on my videos just this year alone, saying the very same thing, well, that's not something easily dismissed or ignored. And
He's right about that, man. Dude has like a perfect microphone. His speaking voice is booming. And this is from the Book of Numbers. This is page 104. Total explicit cost, right? When all is said and done, starting from age 18 to your dying day at 78, the average man can expect to shell out an explicit cash expense or expenses $260,785. So the average dude is shelling out in explicit cash expenses in the pursuit of women, according to Aaron Clary, $260,785 in his pursuit, maintenance, and disposal of a woman. And by that he means if you get divorced, the divorce costs. And he's like, and if you don't get divorced, he said you can expect to incur about $148,000 in expenses from 18 to 78 pursuing women. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. You can buy your house. The top number could buy your house. The bottom number can buy you a very nice vehicle if you want. Like if you want, brother. Life of Cash in the building. What's good, man? So, bro, October 19th, Saturday, October 19th, 6 to 8, we're doing a networking event in Ybor City, bro, at Trellis. I'll send you the information once the flyer is done. Should have the flyer done here. Hopefully tomorrow. We're hoping to have it done today, but with the storm coming, some of our people are starting to, make plans to move if they need to. But anyway, bro, you should pull up. It's going to be a good event, bro. Very nice spot. Trellis at Buckman. And this is in Ybor City on 7th. It's right next to 1920, bro. You definitely should pull up. It's gonna be good times, man. Man, that's a lot of money that dudes will spend. And when you think about it, when you start thinking about it, going back to 18, you meet a girl, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to take her out. You take her out somewhere nice. So you figuring you're gonna spend let's just say $150 on dinner, movie, drinks, or whatever for that night, that one date. Right. And if how many times are you doing that? How many times are doing it? You might be doing that. If you're doing it once a week, $150, $600 a month. $600 a month. Think about that. $600 a month. I remember back in the 90s, bro, $600 a month was rent. So and then that doesn't account for gas, that doesn't account for your time, that doesn't account for the clothes that you spent to go, it doesn't account for the cologne. I mean, when you start really adding it up, that $260,000 mark, I'm like, yeah, I could really see that. Brother Life of Cash, he's like, yeah, estimates around $300K from birth to 18. Not sure if that includes college, and that's raising a kid. Yeah, depending on where you live, yeah. I think California has the numbers set at 300. Maybe a little bit over 300. I remember once looking up how much it costs to raise a kid in the most expensive area in America, and I think at the time, this was a few years ago, I think it was like 300,000. So I was like, yeah, that should boil down to 150 a child, 150,000 a child, because I was talking about child support. Like, how is it that people are paying millions of dollars in child support when we know it only costs $300,000 to raise a kid in the most expensive area in America? Like, that's something we're going to talk about later. That's another conversation for another day. And trust me, we're going to have it. Shout out to Brother Shaw. He talks about that on his platform all the time. I'm gonna try to work it out and get him back over here, or maybe I can go over there and we can have that conversation. Yeah, look at that. Michael's like, yeah, that number's up there in today's today's numbers, bro. It might be up there, bro. It might be up there. New Britain Polly, how you doing? Welcome. 95% of men are simps, and it really ruins it for all of us. Yeah, bro. Most dudes are raised that way, man. They were raised to go out here and pursue women and spend that money. Most guys don't realize that it's a trap until they get burned bad. And most of the time is, guys who get divorced and stuff like that. So yeah, dudes are definitely simpletons when it comes to that kind of thing, but it's that Disney fairy tale narrative that everyone has been raised with, all of us, everyone. So you have to wake up. You have to shake yourself out of it. I tell dudes all the time, man, like, yo, if you're going to take someone out, you don't take a woman out, bro, man, keep that as cheap as you possibly can, bro. I tell people all the time, I do ice cream dates. If a woman wants to go out with me, like, hey, let's meet up, let's get some ice cream or a smoothie, I do that. Let's meet up in the park or by the lake or something like that, maybe along a walkway. Here we got this thing called River Walk or whatever. You can kind of walk along the river down here in downtown Tampa. I'll do that. We'll just meet up, get some ice cream, have a walk, get to know each other. And if a woman doesn't want to do that, if she's like, I want to turn up, I want to go to so-and-so, can you take me to this restaurant, not restaurant? That's it. I don't talk to them no more because you already know what time it is. I start having fun with them. Like, okay, that's your game. Well, I'm about to run my game. May the best person win. So, but yeah, most dudes don't understand that. They see a beautiful woman, they're talking to her, they're happy to be talking to her, and they have no problem spending. I've done it in the past, right? It was trial and error. I learned to go to ice cream dates, right? When I was really young, when we talking about going out with women, when I was, like in my 20s, I would go to dinner. Correction. I said that wrong. I wouldn't take them to dinner. I would take them out to breakfast, right? That was my thing. When I was young, they wanted to go out. New girl, I just met her, just got a number, whatever. I'm like, all right, let's go to Bob Evans. Let's go to, Perkins. Let's go to whatever. I would take her to a breakfast spot. Right. And the reason I did that was two reasons I did that. Breakfast was the cheapest meal you can buy. Right. Probably still is. Right. Compared to lunch or dinner. Breakfast, ain't nobody drinking wine. Like you ain't buying alcohol at breakfast. If I take a girl to breakfast, you're trying to do mimosas. Yeah, that changes the way I think about her. Like, we gonna smash. But generally speaking, that's gonna be the cheapest meal you can buy. And if the date goes poorly, you got the rest of your day to do whatever. It didn't really cost you nothing but time. And if the date goes well, you can continue on and do something else. I mean, I remember once I met up with a woman, real cool chick, pretty, came from a good family, all that. Met up for breakfast. We went to Bob Evans. This is back in Cincinnati, Ohio. Went to Bob Evans, had, ate good. I think it might have cost me $15 for both of us at Bob Evans. We ate good. The conversation was popping. She was really cool. She had the rest of the day, free because she was a college student. She had nothing to do. I think it was summertime. So like, all right, then we left Bob Evans and we went to the park, kind of hung out in the park, walked off our breakfast. You know what I mean? By the time we leave the park, we're holding hands and all that, we're playing kissy face and all that. So then I'm like, well, look, why don't you, no, I took her to the range. Like, you know what? Let's go to the range. So we wound up going to the range, man. We spent the whole day together. She got home the next morning. It went like that. We had the whole day together. And, man, she was in the rotation for a minute. She was cool. She understood, man. She was on point. Right. So it just worked out that way. Breakfast went good. Then we went and had a walk in the park. That went good. We went to the range. I got to teach her how to shoot, fire a firearm. That went amazingly well. She went to the crib. We got together, went out that night. Well, I think we went to a movie or something. Went to a movie. Then we went to the spot and hang out with some of my friends, had a drink or two. She came back to the crib. All that based on that cheap breakfast date. So I tell guys all the time, man, keep your costs down, right? If she refuses to go to these places, bro, then you know what you're dealing with. Don't pay for her to go to some expensive restaurant that she wants to do. Don't let someone turn you into a foodie dude. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Brother D-Mac in the building. What's good, fam? Right. So every brother that spends money is a simp. What about you? Have an expense account at work? Have you an expense account at work and you just want to hang out? I would say this. The guys that are spending money they have it. This is how they do it. Like I do the ice cream date. If you a guy that, you know, I'm just gonna take her with me doing whatever I'm gonna do. If I'm going to this place or that place, I'm just gonna have her join me. That's fine. You know what you're doing. But the guys that are spending money in exchange for her attention, in exchange for her validation, I think that's a simpleton move. If you a dude and just, I mean, there are dudes out here that spend money on whatever they want to spend money on, man. They rocking it out. Like I said, I've been out, I've done it. But if you're the guy that's going out here, I'm just trying to use this money to get this girl, to get her validation and get her to holler at me. I think that's a simpleton move. You have to couple that. Whatever your move is, I think it has to be coupled with your game, how you handle that. And there are simpletons out there. There's dudes out there who just, I got money, and you know what? I'll like the guys who send money or send a cash app to a girl, send $100 cash app just so he can text her, or she will get on the phone, like get on a video call. That type stuff. Yeah, I think that's straight up simpleton moves. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, and brother Michael, like their problem is people adapt their script of love from the relationship with their parents and then proceed to seek out and recreate the same dynamics unconsciously as their body feels that as chemistry. Yeah, man. You know, it's coming up the way we came up, bro. I saw that in the streets. I saw it. I saw, you know, I got to listen to girls run their game. Like I'm sitting there with the girl. She's calling me her cousin while she's talking to some dude who's trying to come over. I think he brought over food that night. We were real young. I think we were like, I'm like 17 years old. This dude brought over some McDonald's for her or whatever. He was like, all right. You know, he's all, you can see he's all Google eyed. He's happy that, you know, he would even like she would even talk to him. Right. She's like, oh, this is my cousin, whatever. He drops out the food. He leaves. And I wasn't her cousin. Right? I'm eating Big Macs and fries, and he brought the drinks, and I'm doing that. And I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out. And I think that night we didn't smash, but, you know, we were messing around because, you know, her parents were home or whatever. Her mom was home. But dude brought over the food for her, thinking he getting on, and she telling him, oh, this is my cousin. So early in life, I'm seeing the game like, damn. I'm like, man, these chicks a lot better than we do. They make it happen. They, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, when it comes to the simpleton stuff, bro, like, yo, if you out here and you're using money thinking that is going to sway this woman and she's going to want to be with you, you got another thing coming. It's not going to work. Imagine if we had this red pill content when we were young. This generation has no idea how lucky they are. It's good they had this content. Yeah, I didn't know what it was called, but we just called it game, and we were gamed up. We had the old dudes telling us, man, we were gamed up. Again, just getting to see these women running their game on the men. I sit back and watch, you know, the women in my family or women we cool with from the neighborhood just telling us like, man, don't you be bringing no girl no flowers. Don't you be doing this. Don't you be doing that. And then you go out and do it anyway. And then you realize while you're doing it, like, man, she running the game, just like my people told me. So we just called it game, but it was red pill truths. But you're right. If we had this back then, oh man, I think I would have been indestructible, bro. Indestructible. Yep. And brother Michael's like, usually a boy who grows up without the father will end up parenting the mother. Coach Greg Adams talks about this. Coach Greg Adams term son, husband. Okay. And then become an anxious people pleaser or codependent. Yeah, you can definitely, I can see that. I could definitely see that, man. And brother D Max, like the biggest simps are brothers that goes to the strip clubs, bro. You want to see the game unfold in the strip club. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That's one of the things I do when the guys come to me and they're talking about, you know, they want to pick up game. They wouldn't want to see game in action, right? Especially female game. And they come to me and they, you know, like, hey man, I want you to come out with me, blah, blah, blah. You know, we do that whole thing. Cause you guys know I generally don't do the video calls. Like if you want me to come out and help you get better in the streets, we got to get in the streets. Right. I generally do that. Like if I got a package, you're going to pay X amount of dollars. You're going to come, we're going to go out. I take them to the strip club. It's one of the first places I take them. And when we go in there, I tell them, leave your money in the car. So we go into the strip club with no money. Like, you know, just pay for, you know, enough to get in. We pay cash to get in. You know, leave your money in the car. Normally, if you go early enough, you ain't even got to pay admission. Leave your money in the car, right? I'll buy the drinks. So I'm the only one that has money. The guy ain't got no money. He ain't got no credit card. He can't hit the ATM. Right. And I'm like, now go ahead. Your mission is to get the phone numbers. Well, back then it was phone numbers, but now it's like, get the social media of these girls, chat them up, and see how long you can keep these girls sitting over here next to you, talking to you without giving her any money. And these guys are just blown away. And it's like, yeah, bro, they like, man, she likes me. She didn't see that. I'm like, okay. Tell her you ain't paying no money. Cause she's eventually she's gonna like, hey, you want to do a dance, or we gonna tip me for this, tip me for that. And the guy's like, I ain't got no money. Hey man, can you give me some money? Nope, I ain't giving you nothing. And the girls are gone. Like, man, she don't care about you, bro. If you give her money, you falling into her frame. That's just what it is. See, it's all game right here, bro. But yeah, she said I could take her out. Like, man, she ain't taking you nowhere. She's gonna be hitting you up for cash apps. She's gonna be, you know, running sass, you know, sob stories by you, and you're gonna fall for it. This is game. Your game has to be on her level. Just like she made you believe everything she's saying was sincere. That's how you got to be talking to these women out here when you're out here trying to holler. And the girls in the strip club, that's how they make their money. That's how they feed their family. The women on the street, they're just running game. So your game needs to be as good as the strippers. So when you talking to these women, you know what I mean? They're listening to you and they believe what you're saying. That's one of the places I love to go. And then when you go into the nightclub, you know, later on we hit the nightclub, they see what I'm talking about. Like, it's all game, bro. It's all game. Brother Penny's like, men need to understand they're not running game in strip clubs. The strippers are running game on you. Facts. This is how they survive. These girls in the strip clubs, man, they're making, well, the economy is starting to turn. They're not making as much now. But I was talking to women who was, man, some of these girls were making $15,000, $20,000 a month, bro. And I'm cool with them because I'm cool with the owner. They see me all the time. I'm cool with the bouncers, like the staff, like all security. So I'm in there, and here in Tampa, the strip clubs got really good food. I mean, gourmet level fucking steaks and shit like that. So I'm in there eating, chilling, doing my thing. It's like, don't give these girls a dime. Don't do it. Don't do it. And eventually they'll know, like, okay, he ain't spending no money, because they know their job. They know when the guys walk in who spend money or not. A lot of the girls that I'm cool with will sit down next to me, and I'll ask them to break it down. I'm like, hey, those, like 5 dudes just walked in. Like, which one of them dudes gonna spend money? They'll look up, and within moments, they assess the whole crew. And they're like, yeah, the first 2 dudes, they don't have any money. They broke guys. You know what I mean? That guy that came in last, he got a little bit of money, but I don't think he gonna spend it. Then they're like, the other 2, I'm not sure. And then, you know, they'll go over there, run their game, and come back. You know what I mean? Like, yep, it was just like I said. The other 2, they didn't have too much money, but, you know, they had a little bit. They just run it down. That's their job. Y'all need game like that. Y'all need game like that. Let's get back to the video. And remember, this video is why dudes are not spending money on dating today.
As one person commented on my inquiries, I wonder if the women are reading these, going through them and asking themselves, why? Why are all these men saying they're done with dating? The truth of the matter is, I already know the answer to that. They aren't reading them for the most part, because when they see stuff like that, they immediately dismiss it or label the guys saying it with their favorite insult for guys that have walked away, which is to call them incels. Even the few that do acknowledge that it's men who are walking away can't admit that they might be the problem. And they resort to making claims like men are just afraid of them or intimidated because they're strong and independent. What a load of crap. They're going to great lengths to avoid dealing with the reality that men not only don't want to date them anymore, they don't even want to be near them. Today's women don't want to acknowledge that they and their toxic mindset towards men are leading men to say,
Hasta la vista, baby.
And it's why the situation is only going to get worse.
Like, dude broke it down, didn't he?
I don't know what's sadder.
He broke that all the way down. Then he shout out to him, man. Give him a little. Men are walking away from the dating world. That is going on right now, fellas. It is going on. It's not as intense as this dude is making it out to be, at least not yet. But whenever I go out, if I'm in a lounge, I'm in, a restaurant, at the bar, you know what I mean, wherever, if I'm in a spot, a salsa joint or whatever, women are talking about it. I'm like, man, these dudes won't talk. Like I was in a Latin spot about a month or so ago, and I'm just kind of standing around chilling, trying to stay out of everyone's way because I can dance a little bit, but I'm in a place that these people are like damn near pro level. So I'm just kind of watching, and I can see these women come over towards me, and then one pulls out a camera. And I knew it was just a matter of time before she asked me to take a picture. So I just started to move. Right away, I started moving, turned my back, kept going. And I saw the girl out of my peripherals trying to raise her hand. I kept going, went to the bar, turned around, and I could see some dude jumped up to, they got him taking all these pictures at all these different angles. He wound up spending 5-10 minutes, and then they just walk away. I'm like, what a waste of time. Right. And more and more dudes are moving like I'm moving. Like, nah. Even when I'm walking down the street, some woman will stop. Hey, will you take a picture? Like, nope. And they can't. They're shocked that they're hearing no. More and more guys are just like, nah, we're over it, not dealing with it no more. But I think the women are still getting attention, right? But they're getting less and less attention. And I think the women who are like 5s and 6s, which is average and a step above average, they're seeing it the most, right? They are seeing it the most. Yeah, and Life of Cash, I agree with you there, bro. Yeah, when you talk to girls in the gentlemen's club, when they tell you the money is drying up and they tell you who's spending the money, that lets you know what's going on with the economy. The white collar guys not spending what they were. I mean, they're still going in there, but they're not spending as much, and they're not spending as much as often. And the girls were telling me last time I was in the spot talking to some chicks, which was about a month and a half ago, they were saying, yeah, the money's still good, but the money's coming from the streets. It's not coming from Wall Street. It's not coming from the corporate guys. The money is coming from the street guys, which tells me there's a spike, right, in that, that D-boy lifestyle. There's a spike. People are out here self-medicating. So, that just take that for whatever it's worth. Brother Paulie, yeah, definitely off topic, but real quick about Kobe's accident. I was at work that day, and the Kobe's helicopter came flying through. The weather was bad, but in air traffic control, the pilot has to tell us his current flight conditions where he is. We can't base it on where we are, because the weather where we are can be different than the weather that's half a mile away, quarter mile away, or whatever. Hell, I've seen it where the weather was different, 500 feet down the runway. So pilot tells us we are in these current conditions. Okay, go ahead and do what you're doing. Now, all the controllers in the tower, it's like there's no way in hell that guy's telling the truth. Like this helicopter pilot, there's no way he's telling the truth. But what he's doing is flying low enough that he could see features on the ground, see streets, see cross streets and stuff like that. So he's just kind of working the system with all these, these poor people in the back of the helicopter. And we're talking about a very complex, very fast helicopter. So we were like, yeah, that guy's lying to us. And then within 45 minutes or so, we got the news that there was a helo down, and then we pieced it all together. And we found out who was on board. And it's like, wow, it was a crazy day. And the government came in so hard. I've never seen the FAA, I've never seen the NTSB move so fast on an incident. Well, this was an accident. And they came in heavy. And they talked to everyone. I was in the tower working a position that had absolutely nothing to do with this. And they interviewed me for, 45 minutes to an hour. And they were going over documentation. What did you say here? What did you mean here? What did you mean by this? Like, what? So that was a crazy day. Definitely because of Kobe Bryant was a legend. You had those children on board and all those other people on board. And at the end of the day, I believe that helicopter pilot was not telling the truth doing what he was doing. And it just got a lot of people deleted. Terrible day. That was a long day. And when I say the NTSB was there, shit, bro, I want to say the first reps showed up before we left that day. So that happened early in the morning. Before I got out of there in the afternoon, they were people showing up already, and they're telling us, nope, you got to wait. They had to pay me a bunch of overtime, have me sitting around waiting so they get the paperwork done. Crazy day, crazy. So yeah, and one day I'll do one of the air traffic shows, and I'll drill down on that a little bit more. But yeah, man, that was a crazy day. It's like, yeah, dude broke the dating game down like fractions, bro. so yeah, man, like the guys, I think the average dude has begun to figure it out. They're like, hey man, it's not worth it going out here spending the money, chasing women, getting themselves involved only to get chopped up in, the family court system or get their heart broken. There are guys out here, like you see this big push, dudes are like, paternity fraud. Like they're really worried about paternity fraud, as they should be. You got guys who get these women and they think these women are wholesome women only to find out that they got an OF account or they're out here doing this stuff or they have this past. And a lot of guys are like, you know what? I don't feel like putting the time and effort into vetting and dealing with this. I'm just going to walk away. Some are like, I'm walking away completely, right? MGTOW, done. Some are like, I'm just not dealing with American women or Western women. I'm going to get on a plane and go over here and deal with this over here. So you had your passport bros. But the game is really changing. Women are slow to pick up the change. The women, like the 8, 9s, and 10s, they're not noticing anything because everyone's going to take a shot at them. But all the other women, like the 5 through 7s, they're noticing that men just aren't giving them the time of day. There are women when you go to the strip club, man, there's a bunch of women in there. Women just hanging out, not dancers, just women hanging out, right? And these are women who are like 5s, 4, 5s, and 6s. And then, I'm in the club. I'll be in there. A friend of mine's a bartender. I'll go talk to her, just kind of hang out. Same thing. The girls that work in that club know that I don't spend any money. They stay away from me. But I'm watching, the stuff break down. And these women are in there trying to holler at men. And the only dudes that are hollering at these dudes are like the Pookie, the Ray Rays, the Dusties. They're all drunk most of the time trying to get on with these women because they think, oh, this is going to be an easy hit. If she ain't here, she's loose. Nah, these women are here trying to find some dudes. They're trying to find, 7, 8, 9, dudes, top tier guys. And it's crazy to see them even doing this. Like, I'm like, man, these women in here trying to get on. And they get aggressive when they see what they want. When a woman comes in there and they hunting for a dude, they get aggressive. They'll come at you. They ain't playing. They already know, like, man, I'm in the strip club. They already know what time it is. This dude know what I'm trying to do. Same thing in the cigar lounges. It's like, yeah, women like cigars too. I've never seen so many women in cigar lounges in my life. When I go to cigar lounges, always a bunch of women in there hanging out, smoking cigars, looking their best, looking to get attention. Like, it is what it is. Women are coming away from dating apps because dudes are coming away from dating apps. So now it's back to in real life meetups. So you're starting to see dating events pop up again. Here in Tampa, there's like every week there's some sort of dating event for upper tier people, for entrepreneurs, for millionaires, for whatever, like that, all these dating events. We might even do one ourselves. We might even go to our man's restaurant and do one of these events ourselves. So, women realize the game has changed and the game is currently changing, and guys are disengaging. And just look at TikTok, look at YouTube. You see all these videos, man. Dudes are giving up. Now the women want the top tier guys. So if you're a dude, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack, 6 inches, you got yourself together, you got a title, you got all that good stuff. They still want to talk to you, right? These women, like I tell you guys all the time, these women will place themselves in your orbit. When they see you, they're going to come over there and there's any excuse to get you to talk. Like if you won't talk to them right away, they'll start bumping into you, leaning into you, asking, oh, excuse me, can you hand me that? Hand me that over there. Anything to get your attention. Anything to get your attention. And I tell dudes like, well, look, if that's someone you want to mess with, go ahead. But, if 10 women approach me, I might consider talking to 2 of them because they just that fine, right? The other 8, nah, I'm good. I'll get up, move, I'll leave, I'll do whatever. I'm not trying to talk to them at all. Like I've moved my position in the bar. Like I'll just get up, use the restroom, come back, sit down somewhere else. Oh, we were saving your chair. Like, oh, no, I'm good. Thanks, love. Appreciate it. I'm over here talking to my friend. She's bartending. Thank you, though. I ain't coming over there. I ain't trying to talk to you. And these women will come up and ask you, like, well, why? They're like, why aren't you guys talking? Why aren't you interested? I just don't feel like it. Right. And Rich Cooper put it best, man. The juice just isn't worth the squeeze. I'm not going to try to make them feel bad or whatever. You can't just say I'm seeing somebody because they'll say they don't care. So it's just like, nah, I'm cool. I just, I had a bad breakup or whatever, just trying to, so they don't feel so bad. But the reason is I'm not trying to talk to you because I don't find you attractive. I don't think you're worth my time. Sister Jody's in the building. What's good, sis? Good to see you. How you feeling? Brother Paul, like if you seriously want to date a 7 and up, you better be at least a 6-figure earner to have any chance, or your game got to be on point. If your game is on point, my friend, it doesn't matter. She'll never see your bank account, right? She has no idea what type of earner you are. She's basing everything on what she sees in front of her and where you guys are. So if you have game, right, it doesn't really matter. Depending on how good your game is. If you're fit, if you're tall, man, that stuff, you dress really nice. All that stuff helps you, but it's not required. But if you're doing that, she's going to assume that you meet her requirements. So just let her come up with whatever she wants to come up with in her head. And a 7, I mean, that's just 2 points above average. A 7, yeah, just let it get on her hamster wheel in her head and let her come up with whatever. And just keep your distance and be mysterious. So, having 6 figures, how's she going to know? Right. But if your game is on point, it don't matter, man. She's going to holler at you. She's going to get, feel you like she's down with you, and she's going to let you smash, and then you're good. And then after that, whatever, if she figures it out. But if she's asking you to take her places and asking her, can you, for this experience or that experience, and you don't do it, she'll just assume that you're responsible with your money. Unless you show her or tell her how much you earn, how can she find out? How can she really know, brother? Jay in the building. Man, your Lions are doing way better than my Bengals, man. We are 0-3. I don't know if y'all got to watch that football game last night, but we got trounced. Man, Washington, they rookie quarterback looks, boy, he looked like the truth. He shredded our defense, man. And Cincinnati, man, our defense ain't half bad, but man, we got beat up on bad. So, but I'm still here, but I'm a Bengals fan no matter what. 0-3 start. Ooh, I'm glad this is a long season. Like, wait, 6 inches. Yeah, a lot of people said that 6 inches meant for 6-pack, 6 inches. You know what I mean? Because they want you to be like a tornado in the bed. They want you to be able to sing them sonnets and knit them some socks. Like women, today's woman is looking for an avatar that simply doesn't exist. And if your game is on point, fam, that man, that gets you a long, long, long way. So don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the car. Like guys are like, yeah, I'm driving this nice whip. I got this car, this kind of car, that kind of car, whatever. The guys are walking around talking about Scat Pack. And I'm like, man, don't say that out loud, bro, because that's not really high end. But then you have guys in here like with the AMG Mercedes or the Alpina BMW. You have guys with the 911s, the Panameras, the Aston Martins. The thing is, you can't drive your car into the spot, right? Yeah, it's valeted outside. So what? Right? Discovery is way better than disclosure. So what you need is game, and just enough game to get her talking and sit back and listen and just let her say what she's going to say. And if your game is on point, like, you know what? I have to be at this other event. I'm going to watch a friend play this, or someone told me about this musical venue over here, and I want to check out this group. I'm having a great conversation with you, love. So, I got to go, but it was really nice talking to you. And she was like, well, wait, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to this place downtown, is da, whatever. And she's sitting there and her mind is going like, you're more than welcome to join me if you want to go. And if she's not with friends, bro, she's rolling with you. She rolling with you, homie. She jumping in the whip. And that's when the car comes into play, right? Go to valet, bam. They up pulls the Aston Martin, up pulls the BMW, Mercedes, whatever you're driving. It's nice. It's clean inside, clean outside. Now she's thinking, whoa, this dude must really be doing good. So you don't have to say I'm making $100,000 a year. She's just going to base that on what she sees in front of her. So really focus on y'all game. Really focus on y'all game. Jose, what's up, fam? I see you. Good to see you, fam. Like, really focus on your game. Yeah, them Commanders beat our ass, man. they beat our ass, brother Michael. Yeah, money doesn't matter much. That is true. That is true. As long as you have your baseline of stability and you can afford to do the activities you plan to lead, facts. Facts. If you're doing these things, you look a certain way, bro, she can't see it. She only sees what's in front of her. You're not being crazy, flashy, whatever, but you're doing these cool things. She has no idea how much the stuff costs. I mean, whatever. So that money, man, it's just not, it's just not as important as a lot of people think it is. He's like, I'm a 6'4" Dusty Tyrone. You gotta be careful, fellas. I will steal your girl. They're not thinking about the money. Some of them are not. And then it depends on where you meet them. Right. Again, the height and confidence can take you as far as you will let it take you, fam. It is crazy. Like women, it's just so many broke dudes be pulling these dimes. They got game. And then you have these guys who have tons of money and they have zero game and they're getting their pockets ran. They're getting finessed, right? They think they're doing something. And they'll get with a girl who's like the neighborhood freak. And she'll make him wait 6 months to a year before he get any. And then the sex he's going to get is just going to be terrible. And he's happy and going crazy. But meanwhile, he's paying her rent, paying her phone bill, paying for her nails, paying for her hair, taking her out to these restaurants, doing all this stuff. And like I say, man, I ain't mad. She running like that. I ain't mad. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, bro. Man, they got over with him. Is he the best rookie right now in the league? That man's crazy. Crazy with it. I'm gonna keep my eye on Washington. You know what I mean? So game is very, very important. I put game above all else, man. If your game is on point, you're gonna have some success. Your confidence is up, your game is on point. You just running numbers at that point, bro. You are going to have some real success. As a matter of fact, we'll probably do a review on Dose of Game tomorrow. We're gonna review a couple of King Doses videos so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. It's really about the game. It's not about the other stuff, especially money. It's really about the game. You're right about that, man. Sky Pack's only going to get, let's keep it 100, man. Chicken heads, bro. Chicken heads. Chicken, whoop, whoop, chicken heads. You know what I mean? So, but those, I mean, people who are into those cars, those are great cars. I mean, that's the newest version of American Muscle and all that good stuff. I've never really been into that. If I was going to get a muscle car, I'll get a muscle car. If I'm going to get a Charger, I get a real Charger from back in the day. Get one that's all been souped up, modified, and fixed up. That's a flex. But that, that American Rumble, like blah, 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 with that, that's the flex. Yep. And D-Mac, telling the truth, man, you can pull dimes being broke. The problem is you can't keep them. That's a fact. And if you out here just running game, it does not matter. If you out here just smashing, if you broke, why are you trying to be in a relationship if you broke anyway? Just get out here, get your game up, smash. It is what it is. Keep your emotions in check. You're going to be fine. Now, if you're a brokey, you get you a dime and you fall in love with her, she's going to figure out that you a brokey and you don't have anything. You don't have any prospects, right? And she is going to be gone. She is not going to take care of you. She still wants someone that's on her level financially or better. She's still going to want experiences. And once she realizes you really don't have it, she ain't trying to mess with you, bro. She ain't trying to come to the hood to see you, right? She wants to go downtown into the nice buildings or go to the nicest areas in town to come see you. She want to see that. That's the thing about, places like Miami, New York, LA. They pull up and you living in a really nice part of town in a really nice building, bro, that's 80% of the battle right there. Now the problem is going to be getting her to leave. Man, I can't get her to leave. She always over here now. I can't get her to leave. That's part of the game too. Extra strategy. So that's it for now, fellas. I really appreciate it. We're just going to wrap this one up. Men have dropped out of the workforce and they've dropped out of the dating game because they've given up on the buy-in. These dudes don't believe that they're winners. These dudes don't believe that they have a chance. And then we looked at what people are making. We looked at how much they're earning and all that good stuff. And to them, they're just like, it's not worth it, right? They're not built to handle adversity. So they've given up on work, on trying to find work. They're not educated. They're underpaid. They're tired of it. And they can't get women. So they've given up on that. They can't get women. So without any women, there's no motivation to go out there and get that job and be better. Right? There's you see what I'm saying? It feeds into itself. This problem is only going to get worse. So the guys out there who have a little game, the guys out there who know what they're doing, there's going to be even more women trying to holler at y'all. I don't care what these girls are saying. These women are going to be willing to share you if they believe you got it together. So that's only going to increase. And I think we're going to see a spike in women actually approaching men. I think we're going to start to see that moving forward. More women are going to approach men, but they're only going to approach the men, the top tier men that they want. So if you're in the bottom 80, guys, if you're in the bottom 80, just do the work. Don't give up on yourself. Do the work. Get out here. Move yourself up into the top 20. And bro, you are going to get the success that you've been looking for. Is going to be crazy. Trust me when I tell you. Don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid. Get out here and get after it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate talking to y'all. Tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit about Dose of Game. And then it's probably going to be like windy. And then Thursday, I might not have a show. It depends on how close this hurricane gets to Tampa. I think it's supposed to pass us sometime between Wednesday and late Thursday into the early morning of Friday. I think we're tracking it right now. So if I don't do a show, you guys know why. It's the storm. So I will see y'all hopefully tomorrow. We're going to be looking at some Dose of Game stuff. I'm looking forward to that. See what you guys have to think about that. And then later in the week, we're definitely going to be talking George Gammon. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the economy, what's going on with the drop in the interest rates and how that's going to affect all of us. Is it going to be a good thing? Is it going to be a bad thing? And of course, we'll probably touch on a little bit what's going on with this election. Still too close to call. We'll just have to wait and see. I have no idea. People keep asking me, who you think going to win? Like, bro, if the election were tomorrow, I would say advantage Kamala Harris by 1.5 points, maybe 2 points. Again, still well inside the margin of error. So this race is too close to call. So thanks for rocking out with me, fellas, man. Hey, y'all know what it is. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.